Greetings, everyone. It is Linda Talaferro from the T the Extra Effort. And yes, it's that time of the month, Being Brown at Work Live. I'm so excited to be with you tonight. And you see, you have me. I don't have a fabulous guest, but I've got a critical topic I want to discuss. Most of us always focus on the glass ceiling. At least you hear that a lot, trying to break the glass ceiling, want to make sure I get to that leadership position, that executive position. But I would offer to you that what's truly preventing your growth is what's called the broken rung. Before you can even get to the glass ceiling, you have to at least get that first promotion into the manager ranks, that first step, hence that rung, that first step on a ladder. And for most of us, if not all of women of color, that is a massive, massive challenge. So last fall, Lean in conjunction with McKinsey, did a report. And I mean, staggering. It's their ninth year in doing this report, but yet it seems like nothing's changed. Well, it doesn't seem like, we know nothing has truly changed. And unfortunately, with this broken rung situation, Black women and Latinos are more likely to be held back by the broken rung. So, to give you a little stats, for every 100 entry level men who are promoted to manager, first step, right? Just 68 Latinos are promoted and 58 Black women out of every 100. So, yet again, we're lagging. And so, yes, the glass ceiling exists for sure, but we at least need to get to the first step of being a manager, and then the next step, and the next step, senior manager, and so forth. But we got to make that first step. And not, I will tell you, there's this belief out there that we're not asking for those promotions. Now, look, I know that's real in some cases. Some. I have some clients that, for whatever reason, well, we know what the reason is. 9 times out of 10 is because they don't believe in themselves. They don't have self confidence, which needs to be built up for sure. And then they have this fear of being rejected. So they believe, hey, I'll just keep working hard. Somebody's going to see me and promote me. But that's not going to happen. The working hard is not going to get you there. But that doesn't happen as often. The fact that we don't ask for promotions, that's not happening as often as people want to say it is. We're going for it. We are just not given that same opportunity. Per the stats that I gave you, we're not given that same opportunity. We're not thought of having what it takes to get to be successful in those manager roles, which is that very critical first step for leadership. Very critical. But if the broken rung is alive and well, there's absolutely no doubt that you are not going to get to senior manager. You're not going to get director, senior director, VP. And I mean, the list goes on because it starts with that very first step. So I wanted to bring that forward in this Being Brown at Work Live, because I want us to make sure that we focus on the right things as we as Black and brown women are out here striving on this career journey, that we make sure we focus on the right things, which is getting that first promotion. It's extremely attainable. It's very possible to do. Now, you may be in a situation, in an environment, a toxic environment, where some of these steps I'm going to give you right now, you've tried numerous times and it's just not happened. And you looked around and you've seen others that have done the same and it's just not happening. Because in order to be in a role, you have to see yourself in that role, right? I know that's something that I would do when I interviewed on a regular basis, is whenever I'm walking into the company. I know we do some things virtual, but now we've got a hybrid model. So interviews are taking place in person again. And I would take advantage when I'm walking through that company to look around And if it's set up in the fashion that it's normally set up in, unless you have an open work environment where everybody just sits in open spaces, and there's some places like that, you can tell if you look in offices, because most of the time that's where the leaders are sitting in offices. You can get a pretty good sense. If you don't see yourself, then most likely there is something going on within that system within that company that is preventing that type of growth for people of color, particularly women of color, Black and Brown women. Whenever I would interview, I was relentless in paying attention to who was in what offices, and especially if we went to different floors, because that usually told a story as well. In order to be it, you have to see it. And I'm going to say, most importantly, out of all the recommendations I'm going to give you, for those of you who are me and you're sitting in a vice president role, you have not had the broken rung situation, or you've conquered it, and you've even either chipped the glass ceiling, you have made it crack, or you've broken through the glass ceiling. My first and foremost statement tonight is going to be, you make the difference. You can drive change. You can shift the paradigm in this broken rung. Bring people along. There is no, I mean, this competition thing, this crab in the barrel thing we have is part of the reasons why we are still held back in workplaces. Although there are not a lot of people like me, we exist. So I believe it's extremely important for us to reach back. And if you have an opportunity, you have an opening, give that Black or Brown woman an opportunity to take that manager spot. Don't break the rung for her. If you know of someone and can advocate for her, do so for those openings for that first level management role, so that they can have an opportunity to show their excellence in leadership and go from there. Don't create the broken rung for them. Please do not do that. And for those of you who are trying to get that first promotion, you have got to be extremely forthright. You've got to be vocal. You've got to be courageous about how you see yourself and the skills that you bring to the table and why you believe you're ready for the role. You've got to raise your hand. I know I had previous opportunities at other companies, and one in particular, and I was in a quality role, in a leadership role, but I'm gonna tell you what, whenever an opportunity came for me to expand the breadth of what I was doing, I raised my hand. I said, "Hey, you need someone to lead program management? I'll do it in addition to what I'm doing. You need someone to take on operational excellence? I'll take that on for the region I'm responsible for." So don't be afraid to raise your hand, be courageous and say, "Hey, first of all, I'm here. I need you to see me," because I'm going to tell you, I have this saying, you have to, I have to make them tell me no. Don't assume no. You have to ask, you have to put yourself forward, give them the opportunity to tell you no. And then if they tell you no, ask for the reasons why. And then you go bridge those gaps and come back again. I tell people all the time, you're responsible for your careers. Yes, yes, yes. We have these systemic challenges. Yes, I know. I gave you statistics. I know there's all kinds of studies out here, and there are systems that are preventing us and trying to hold us back. But also, we can crack those systems, and we can also be in environments that those systems don't exist, but we're sitting back and we are not advocating and doing the work ourselves. So I highly implore and press upon you to raise your hand. Raise your hand. Have a discussion around why you're the right person for that promotion, for that manager role. Bring forward all the things you've accomplished. Bring forward your interpersonal skill strength. Build the case around the fact that you are the answer. Don't just assume somebody's gonna, through osmosis, one, know you want it, and then hope that they've seen you often enough to be able to bridge the gap of, yes, she is ready, no, she's not. You bring that forward. You bring that forward. I can't tell you the number of times where I myself or clients that I've had that have done exactly that. Once they've done the work internally, because interpersonal skill sets are so critical. Once they've done the work internally to really strengthen their interpersonal skills, because they were already good at getting the job done, getting those tasks, hitting the home run. Once they strengthen those interpersonal skills and then they stood on the foundation of believing in themselves with high self confidence and went forward for those opportunities, they got them. They got them. So I would implore upon you, don't let your lack of focus on the broken rung and you just totally looking at that glass ceiling prevent you from growth. The broken rung is what we've got to kill. We've got to kill it in the workplace. We've got to create these ladders that are every single rung is strong. And if we're in positions to create those ladders, like I am and like some of you listening are, do so. But if you're trying to make that first step starts with you believing that you're worthy, believing that you've got it, believing that you are ready now, and then going after it, not sitting back and waiting for somebody to come and find you. Because if they have to look, they're going to try not to look. Let's just be real. But you make sure you're present, you are in the forefront, and you are advocating and providing that case for you being the solution to that manager role that is open now. That is open now. Broken rung. Do some research yourself. I gave you some statistics on it. It's been around for a while, but like I said, out of the study that McKinsey and Lean In organization did in the fall of last year, really brought it to the forefront because we do tend to focus on the glass ceiling. We really do. I mean, we talk about that all the time. But the broken run is where it starts. You've got to get that first manager opportunity to lead people, and then the rest comes with that. So I hope this helps you. If you have any questions around anything that I've shared, if there's still some gray around the broken rung or some of the steps that I just gave you in order for you to address your situation, send me a message. You can contact me. I'm all over social media. Send me a DM, send me an email. I'd love to talk to you specifically about your situation and help you definitely avoid the broken rung syndrome. Take care, everyone. Until next time.